on the basis of the response from your cell phones, and after observing my PPT, now I am here to explain about your doubts related to production planning and control. We know that production planning and control is nothing but is a or production planning and control is a organization and planning of whole manufacturing process. It coordinates supply and movement of material, labor, and ensure the economic and balance utilization of machine and equipment, as well as other activities related to production to achieve desired manufacturing result in terms of quantity, quality, time, and place. So, production planning and control is a process of converting raw material or semi-finished product into finished product. Now, the production system consists of the input is considered in the form of raw material, energy, labor, equipment, and we are getting the output in the form of either the finished product or the scrap and waste. So, production planning and control can be defined as direction and coordination of firm's resources towards attaining prefixed goals. So, production planning and control is the organization and planning of the manufacturing process. It coordinates the supply and movement of the material, labor, and ensure the economic balance, utilization of machine and equipment, and other activities related to production to achieve the desired manufacturing result in terms of quantity, quality, time, and place. There are three stages of production planning control. The planning is the phase where planning is required in PPC, as it is the choice from several alternatives to achieve the desired objective. So that is known as the planning. That is the choice from several alternatives. Operation means the performance in accordance with the set out production plan. Control means the monitoring of the performance. Then after knowing the production planning and control, now we see the objectives of production planning control, that is to determine the requirement of man, material, and equipment for a process, arrange these production schedules according to the need of market demand. So we have to arrange the resources available to fulfill the need of the marketing demand. Then we have to arrange the input to a right time and in right quantity. Make the economical use of various inputs. So economic use is very important task to achieve the coordination amongst the various departments relating to the production. Now to make also the all the arrangement to remove the obstacles for smooth conduction of process, then to achieve the economy in production cost, time, to operate the plant at plant level and efficiency, making the efforts to achieve production targets, providing the adequate stock for meeting the stage contingencies. So after studying all these objectives, let us find out the functions of production planning control. The functions of production planning control are planning, that is deciding in advance what is to be done in future. Routing means determining the exact path. Estimating means analyze the operation. Scheduling means determine the time and schedule date, that is the scheduling function. Then loading according to the capacity of machine that we have to load. Then dispatching, that is the process of actually ordering the work. Expediting means follow up or the progress. Evaluating means thorough analysis of all the parameters, all the factors. And finally the inspection, where the product manufactured of requisite quality or not. Now let us see the levels of the production planning control. The strategic planning is known as the long range, where the organizations, it is a process of thinking through the organization's current mission and environment and setting a guide for future decision and result. That is technology forecasting, choice of appropriate technology for long-term time utilization. Then the second planning is tactical planning. It is known as the intermediate planning. It is used for medium range time horizon. These plans focus on aggregate product rather than individual product. So overall product than a individual one product. Then the third is the operational planning, that is short range. It is done over a short range of time. It is concerned with utilization of existing facilities rather than creation of new facilities. Now let us see the benefits of PPP, that is production planning and production control. Coordinates all the phases of production and operating system. It is an efficient plan which result in higher quality, better utilization of resources, reduce inventory, better utilization of customer services. And efficient plan enables the firm to improve the sales turnover, market share and profitability. Now let us see what are the limitations of PPC. So PPC function is based on certain assumption, that is or forecast of customer demand, plant capacity, availability of material. Then employee may resist the change. We know that the technology development is there, so employees are resisting to adopt the new changes. Then it is a time consuming process. Then it is difficult when environmental factors changes, means unaccountable or uncontrollable parametric change, then it is very difficult to control. Now let us see the capacity planning. One of the important bit is capacity planning. The maximum output rate of facility is known as the capacity. So process of establishing the output rate that can be achieved at a facility. So it is of upper capacity is the upper limit, or it includes the equipment, space, employee skill. The questions in capacity handling are: what kind of capacity is needed, how much is needed, when it is needed. So design capacity means maximum output rate or service capability at operation, process or facility design. Effective capacity means design capacity minus the allowances. So allowance like the personal allowance, the time maintenance, scrap. Then the actual output, the rate of output actually achieved cannot exceed the effective capacity. So there are two formulas. Efficiency, as we have studied in productivity, as the efficiency is actual output upon effective capacity utilization, whereas utilization means actual output upon design capacity. So let us study the example of finding out the efficiency and utilization. If design capacity is given 50, effective capacity is 40, actual output is 36, then efficiency is equal to actual upon effective, that is 36 by 40, that is 90%, and the utilization equal to 36 upon 50, that is design capacity, that is 72%. Now the steps in capacity planning is: forecast the future capacity, evaluate the existing capacity, identify the alternatives, conduct the financial analysis, assess the key qualities issues, select one alternative, implement the final alternative and monitor the results. So aggregate planning and control is another type, where it is an intermediate term planning decision. It is process of planning of quantity and timing. Physical facilities are assumed to be fixed for planning period. So aggregate planning means the between the planning, that is short range and long range. Now there are aggregate planning inputs are resources, forecasting, policy statement, various cost associated. So the total cost of plan can be find out, and the projected level of inventory control is need to be considered. Now there are some strategies, that is proactive strategy, reactive strategy or mixed cap strategy. Then the demand option to match the capacity are pricing, promotion and the new demand. Now the capacity options to match the demand are hire and layoff of the worker, overtime and slack time, part-time workers, inventories, subcontracting. So aggregate planning to master schedule is: aggregate planning gives to this, if disaggregation then gives to master schedule. So master schedule is nothing but this is the result of disaggregating an aggregate plan showing quantity and timing of specific end. So it interfaces with marketing, capacity, production planning and distribution. So it evaluates the impact of new order, provides delivery dates of order. Now the master scheduling process consists of inputs and the output, where includes forecasting ways, inventory, committed customers order, and output includes the projected inventory, master production schedule, uncommitted inventory. Now there is one more important term known as MRP1 and MRP2. MRP1 or MRP is called as material requirement planning. In MCQ the question will be asked about MRP. It is the time-based priority planning technique that calculate the material requirement and schedule supply to meet the demand. MRP technique focus on optimizing the inventory. MRP technique is used to explore the bills of material to calculate net material requirement and plan for future production. So the key steps of MRP, that is calculate demand, determine the requirement, determine when they are added, generate the work order and purchase order. So when to use the MRP, material requirement planning? So on the basis of the dependent and independent demand, we are going to make use. Now the demand characteristics may be there for finished product and their components. Like this, we are going to measure the MRP planning. Then we see the benefits, that is low level of inventories and reduction, ability to track material requirement, hence reduce the shortage, ability to evaluate capacity requirement. Now the next term is MRP2, that is manufacturing resource planning. MRP2 means manufacturing and MRP1 means material requirement. This is the difference, material requirement and manufacturing resources. It involves whole production process starting from aggregate planning, then material requirement planning, and finally the manufacturing resource planning. It is the integration of financial planning, marketing, engineering, purchasing, manufacturing and personnel. So this is the flow chart for MRP, manufacturing resource planning. Now there is one more known as entrepreneur resource planning. It is an attempt to integrate all the functions across the company to a single computer system. Integration is the keyword for ERP implementation. That is, it integrates the customers and supply as a part of enterprise operation. It provides integrated database and custom design reports. It adopts best practices for carrying out all the operations. Now, the reasons for adopting entrepreneur resource planning are integrate the financial information, the customer order information, standardize, speed up the operation, reduce the inventory, standardize the human resource information. This is the flow chart of ERP. So ERP components are finance, HR, manufacturing, logistics. So this is the example how the ERP can be controlled. This is after ERP and before ERP. Thus, the major challenges for ERP implementation is that the technical capability, inconsistency with existing business, cost, impact of organized structure, changes in employees' responsibility, flexibility of software, implementation timeline, availability of integral technical, education and training, like this. Then education training, implementation of strategy, resistance to change. So like this we are going to cover the unit number 4, that is the production planning and control. Thank you for your kind patience. Thank you.